Did you hear me? To empower African and immigrant youth to face what they encounter in schools and in public places like bullying and segregation and all that. And we have succeeded in doing a lot with youth. Many of our past students evolved from reluctance to, in fact, what prompted me to start this was where I used to work when I came Multicultural Family Center in Vancouver. And some of the youths I was working with said, why do we have to go to school? When we were organizing homework club to help them with their homework, they said, why do we have to go to school? When we go to school, nobody will hire us. I had to bring pictures and stories of successful people, successful immigrants. In fact, almost everybody here is immigrant, who succeeded here very well. And I thought about using this because my parents used it a lot to educate us. My mother will not say, don't take a pencil that doesn't belong to you. She says, do you remember what happened to the leopard when the leopard stole the yam porridge that didn't belong to him? He broke out in spots. So I didn't want to break out in spots, so I wouldn't take people's things. Okay. Among the many organizations who liked our system and worked with us in the past, using our model, the Canadian Red Cross, Immigrant Service Society of BC, Multicultural Family Center, Refugee Mental Health gave an award, award to the youth who transformed African proverbs into rap music. So the present group started about October last year. They are very young, very, very young. Yes, but they are getting empowered daily. So ladies and gentlemen, let us fasten our seat belts on those chairs and move to Africa using our traditional performing art to entertain you this evening. Thank you, this afternoon rather. Thank you, let's welcome them to the stage. Thanks a lot, okay? Thank you. All right. Hakuna tabu. For those of you who understand Swahili, you will know what they said. Hakuna tabu means we don't want any problems. Nini wote ni marafiki wanku. You heard the word Rafiki there. In The Lion King, there's a character called Rafiki, and it means my friend. So we want to be friends. Let us be playful together. That's the song they just sang. Thank you. And the next item on the program is a story that is my good favorite when I was very young. And it's titled The Rat, the Lion, and the Rabbit. I'm sure the young ones here would love it. Okay. A long, long time ago, King Lion was a great, great bully in the forest. Many times he would roar like that and roared. And all the other animals would run to hide because they did not want to become the dinner for the lion. So one day, he was just going along the jungle floor without looking at where he put his paws, and suddenly he fell. He struggled to get up. He could not. He wondered why. He looked at his body and found that he had been caught in a hunter's net. Then he roared the more in fright. He roared and roared and roared. And all the other animals ran to hide. Only the little rat said, wait a minute, that roaring is not normal. Something is wrong with the lion. I'm going to find out. So the rat went cautiously towards the lion and said, "Can I help you, Your Majesty?" And the lion said, yes, yes. Don't you see that I'm caught in a net? Go get help quickly.
I can help you myself, but promise me that you won't eat me when you're free.
And the lion said, okay, I promise. Hurry up before the hunters come to get me. And the little rat set to work using sharp teeth to cut holes in the net. After a while, there was a hole big enough for the lion to come out. The lion came out and said, I'm free, 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 free. Then he rubbed his tummy and said, you know what, rat? I'm hungry. The rat said, go hunting. Oh, no, said the lion. I've been there for 3 days. I can't run after any animal. I have to eat you. I have to eat you. Oh, no, I shall eat you. As they struggled, the rabbit hopped by and saw the struggle. The rabbit said, excuse me?
What is going on here? The lion is caught in the net, and I came and I said I could help him.
And then the lion said, yes, help me, but when he was free, he wanted to eat me.
Is that so, Your Majesty?
Oh, yes. When I'm hungry, what do you want me to do? Then the rabbit scratched the ears in thought. He was thinking and thinking. Then he said, I have an idea.
Yes, I have an idea. You can eat the rat, but show me how you, the king of this jungle, can get cut in that flimsy net. Okay.
And the lion went again into the net, put it over him and said, tie up the ends that are caught. Tie it up properly. Is it like this? Oh, yes, but make it tighter. Yes, tighter. And once more, the lion was caught in the net. And the rabbit said, rat, let's run for our lives. And they ran away. And the lion realized too late that a trick was played on him, and he started to roar again. This time, nobody came to help him. But when you go to the safari or some savanna areas in Africa, you can still hear the lion roaring. Thank you. That's the end of that story. Thank you very much. Mother used to tell me that story a lot. In Africa, you have the kitchen away from the main house, the bathroom away from the main house. So to get something from the house to put in the soup or something, you have to send somebody, go bring me that, go bring me that. And if I say I wouldn't, at about age 4 or 5, I wouldn't. And my mother would start that story. It never ended. So the 7-day story. A long time ago, a king had a beautiful daughter called Ewa. Every young man wanted to marry her. And the father said, will you choose one of them? And don't allow all these young men to come to my palace anyhow. And the girl said, I don't know who to choose. They are all so handsome. The father came up with an idea and said, my daughter, you know how I love to listen to nice stories. Whoever can entertain me with a story that will last for 7 days and 7 nights will marry you. The girl did not quite like that. But in those days, you don't disobey your parents like that. So she agreed. The father now sent a griot, a town crier and historian in Africa of those days. Griot went to town to summon all the young men to the king's palace. Wade. Soon all the young men gathered in the palace, and the king said, thank you. Why I call you is that I want to know who will marry my daughter here. Whoever among you can tell a story that will last for 7 days and 7 nights will marry my daughter. Oh, they said, that's just a piece of banana. Who cannot tell a story? The king said, go away, come back 7 days' time. On the 7th day, they all came and they lined up, the merchants, the wrestlers, the farmers, the dancers, all the young men lined up. One by one, they started to tell, and none of them lasted even half a day. In fact, they had to give the king many presents so that he wouldn't put them in jail. Then a young man from the back, who was raggedly dressed and dirty somehow, he came to the front and said, I can tell, Your Majesty. Everybody looked at the young man and started to laugh. Can we laugh? Look at this young man. How can you marry the king? And the king said, I said anybody. I didn't say any rich man. And then the young man came and started his story. A long time ago, Your Majesty, there were farmers who planted corn. As they were doing the gathering in, they looked up and saw something that looked like a cloud. They thought it was going to rain, and they started to pack their corn quickly. But again, they looked up. They were not clouds. They were low. In fact, a cloud of locusts descending on them. So they quickly packed, but before they did that, the locusts had descended and finished all the corn and everything else. They got wiser the following year. They built a granary, and they put their corn quickly and went away. Again, the locusts came. This time, they didn't find much to eat, but they knew there was corn in the granary, and they started to fly round and round until one little tiny locust saw a tiny hole, squeezed itself in, took a grain and went away, and followed by another locust who took a grain and went away. Yet another locust took a grain of corn and went away. Yet another locust. Soon, all the king and everybody started dozing because the monotony was great. Another locust went in. Then the king woke up and said, young man, go away. So the young man went away, and the following day he came. and started again. Your Majesty and the village people, yes, another locust came and took a grain of corn and went away. Yet another locust squeezed itself. What happened after that as the king? After that, Your Majesty, another locust came and took a grain of corn and went away. Yet another locust came, took a grain of corn, went away. And yet another. Young man, will you tell us what happened? What happened, Your Majesty, was that there were millions of locusts, millions of grains, one tiny hole. So they had to take it in turns. So one locust flew in and took a grain of corn and went away. Yet another locust. Young man, will you tell us the end of that story right now, or I put you in jail, said the king. Your Majesty, to tell you the end of a very beautiful tale right in the middle of it will spoil a good story. The town people clapped for the young man. Woo! The king looked around and saw that the young man had become popular. And then he started to beg. Young man, please, at the end of the story, do you think the locust will succeed in emptying the granary? I don't know the mathematics, Your Majesty. All I know is that there are millions of grains, millions of locusts, one tiny hole, so I can't predict that they will finish it. And he continued, and another locust came, took a grain of corn, flew away. Yet another locust. Okay, stop, said the king. That's enough. You are the smartest young man I ever knew. And may you prosper in your wisdom. Sound the royal drums. Let's celebrate the wedding of my beautiful daughter, Ewa, to this very smart young man. And they danced and danced. Maidens dance under the moonlight by the group. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's a maiden dance in the moonlight. Okay? Thank you. We have the next story is the girl. It's a storytelling. The girl who was changed into a dog. Sometimes children can be very mad at each other for nothing. So we'll see what happened in this. Okay.
She thinks she can dance. Yeah. Don't show her how to dance. Yeah.
Denio alama. Denio alama. Tohio. Tohio. Yeah. Bo. You say here. Bo. Tohio means I have a story to tell. Yeah. Bo means tell it quickly, we are listening. Tohio. Yeah. Bo. A long time ago, in some villages in Africa, and up till today, in some rural villages, you still have group wedding. So this time, some ladies were ready for marriage. When they are ready, they dress their hair beautifully, they wear beautifully patterned clothes, and they march from village to village to show themselves up until they get to the destination village where there were some marriageable bachelors waiting to choose wives. And these girls are enacting that story as well. Ona lele obiyeme, ona lele obiyeme, ona lele. Where is your dog? Obiyeme, ona lele obiyeme, ona lele. Enough. And when they got to the first village, they said,
Aren't we beautiful?
yes, you are all so beautiful. But look at that girl in the middle. Woo! She's the most beautiful of you all, said the audience. And all the girls hated her for it, and they moved closer to her and dragged her and kicked her and then pushed her down. Then they evoked their magic power and they said,
We don't like you. We hate you. We're going to change you into a rukere. Yipada.
And they changed her into a rukere and took the rukere. That's the staff held by a king. They went along on their way. Then they got to the next village and said the same thing. Now you can reply.
Aren't we beautiful?
You are all so beautiful. Oh my God, but just look at that rukere. It's so beautiful. Look at all the hair cascading on it. I wish it were a girl. That would have been the most beautiful of all. And the girls again grew green with envy and surrounded her and kicked her and spat on her and said,
"We don't like you. We hate you. We're going to change you into a mess.
Yipada,
Yipada, yipada."
And they changed her into a mask and they went along on their way again. Oh, na lele, obiyeme. Oh, na lele. Oh, na lele. Oh, na lele. Then they got to another village and said,
"Aren't we beautiful?"
Wow, so beautiful.
But look at that mask. Oh my God. I've never seen a mask like that with a bronze casting in it and with beads, and it's made of ebony wood. Oh, with figurines superimposed. If it were a girl, that would have been the most beautiful of all. Oh my God, what shall we do? The girl said. And they again brought her down and said their magic words.
"We don't like you. We hate you. We're going to change you into a dog. Yipada, yipada,
Yipada! And they changed her into a sickly looking dog. Huh? Onalele. Onalele. Please come. Onalele. Please come. When they got to the next village, and Europe, they came, the guys were waiting. See the guys? They were waiting for, and then they went there and picked the girls. And you can just pick any and leave the dog alone. Oh, see one more? Yes, then you can go to your seat. Thank you very much. Thank you. And go there. Please go there. Anyway, the dog stayed there all by herself, and then a young man who went hunting came back late and was looking. The place was already empty. But he looked and he saw a sickly-looking dog somewhere and said, "Well, I'm a hunter. I can take it hunting with me." Well, he took the dog and went home. When he got home, he tethered it, tied it somewhere, cleaned the sores all over its body, and gave it food to eat. Then he went hunting. As he went hunting, the goodness that the hunter did to it brought back the good magic from the girl, the young girl. And then she stood up and peeled the skin of the dog from herself and started to do the household chores as she sang. Na lele obiyeme, oh na lele, oh na lele obiyeme, oh na lele, oh na lele obiyeme, oh na lele. And the girl went back at the end into her skin, and the hunter came back. When the hunter came back, he saw the hut was clean and the food was piping hot. He said, "Oh my God, who did this? Maybe some magic person came in here." But he didn't care because he was too hungry, and he started to eat. He ate the food, And again, he cleaned the dog, gave it food, went back to his hunting. He came back again and saw the same thing happened. And the hunter came back and saw the dog. And the dog had removed the skin, and the hunter was shocked and said,
"You are not a dog?" "No, I'm not a dog. My friends changed me into a dog."
"Ah," said the hunter, "we have to speak to the king about this." So they went together to the king, and they narrated their ordeal. And the king sent the drumming that would summon them to the palace, sounded. And then all the villagers came out to listen to what the king had to say. But the girls saw their friend had turned back into a human being, and their conscience was too much for them. They ran into the bush, never to be seen again. And as for the girl and the hunter, the king married them. And there was celebration for them. Ona lele obiyeme, ona lele obiyeme, ona lele obiyeme, ona lele obiyeme, ona lele. Thank you. Thank you very much. That is it. Right. Sorry, there are 2 little or 3 little kids. What did you learn from that story? We give you dancing, she learned. Good, that's good too. Compassion, what a word to come from a little girl. You're very wise, thank you. To have compassion on others. Yeah, well, he's too young to. Maybe he has something to share too. All right, compassion. Have compassion on one another and listen. And be happy your mates are good. If what they are doing is good, we'll copy them if you want to copy them, instead of using magic to change them or throwing bad things at them. So thank you very much, okay? We have a South African gumboot dance next. In South Africa, long ago, people used to stay in the mines, under their dark, dingy mines. And some people formulated these steps without drumming, without shakers, with no musical instrument. They only used the boots, the gum boot that they take down there into the mine to make the sound of the music. And so the next dance is called the South African gumboot dance. Thank you.
Hey, hey, ahoo. Hey, hey, ahoo. No more bullying.
Ahoo.
No more racism.
Ahoo.
Hey, hey, ahoo. Friendship, ahoo. Creativity, ahoo. Hey, hey, ahoo. Chia. Hey, chia, slow. Hey, hey, hey. Chia. Hey, stomp, stomp. Chia. Hey, chia, slow. Hey, hey, hey. Chia. Hey. Slide
Thank you. Thank you. That's a very energetic dance, and they just started learning that. That's why it's brief like that. So thank you very much. We have another story. We have, in fact, two stories now. We have elede. Elede in my language means pig. Elede, the warthog. In my language, we have the house pig and the bush pig. The warthog is the bush one. So we see what happened, why it's like that. Thank you.
When God created all his elements, plants, and animals in different ways and looks, so Elede the hog was of a special beauty. His cheeks were round like of a young girl. His teeth were white and pearly. He had also a superb body. All the other animals envied him. When they envied him, they also had a cousin named Essie who envied him because he was so beautiful. When they went to the water hole, Essie decided to tell him why they don't like him.
Good morning, Cousin Elende.
Good morning to you, Izzy.
Do you know why the other animals are laughing at you?
No, they always make me unhappy doing that.
It's because you're too ugly.
Me? Ugly?
Yes.
Some people say I'm handsome.
Well, your cheeks, your teeth, your body, they all make you look like a human. Ugly.
Stop, I don't want to hear any more.
With that, Elede ran to the palace of God.
Father, all the animals are laughing at me. They say I'm very ugly. Change my features. My head is too small and...
Take it easy, my son. Tell me how you want your head to be, and I will change it for you. One thing is sure. Once I change all your features, they'll become irreversible.
I don't care. Just make my head bigger than my body so I can think fast.
Shireen, there you are. Are you happy now? What else?
No, my ears. My eyes. You made them too big and wide. Make them sunken into my head.
Done. Anything else?
No, my mouth. Make them stretched out and wide and put tusks on either side.
There you are. Is that all?
No, my cheeks. You made them smooth and round like a young girl. Make them bumpy and put bumps here and there.
There you are. You now have brown new cheeks with bumps. Are you satisfied?
God granted all of his requests. In addition, he put a hair on his head and on the back of his tail. Elede ran to the water hole to have him look at himself. Satisfied, he ran to his cousin Essie's house and met their children.
Hi, children. Wait, it's me.
A monster! Speak or I'll hit you!
It's me, Elede. You said I should change your features. My features, and now I did. Look at me.
Well, you do sound like Elende, but you're scared like family. Leave or I'll hit you. Go! Go!
Soon, a crowd of other animals gathered and threw sticks and stones at Elede. He acquired more bumps on his head as he ran far into the jungle, squealing and snorting. That is where he made his habitat. Until today, the pig continues to live with man. God called Essie and said,
Essie! Essie! Since you have led others to bully and deceive your cousin Elede, you will live a destructive life among men. You will eat and wallow in debt, while your cousin Elede will live in freedom and eat clean and fresh food in the jungle.
No!
All right, thank you very much. That, again, is a thank you very much, okay? We have another story here. called King Lion and His Test of Wisdom. We have many stories because our theme this year is storytelling more. We emphasize storytelling more. Next year it might be dancing, singing, drumming. So it's like that. So we have King Lion and His Wisdom Test, or other ways of counting to 10. It's a West African folk tale. How many children can count to 10 here? Yeah, even the youngest one. See, the youngest child there can count to 10. So, yeah, yes. So we'll see how to count to 10. Thank you. King Lion was sitting one day at the corner of the forest, and he started to think, and he said, I'm growing old, and one day I will grow really, really too old to continue to become king. I would like to know who among the animals will be the smartest like me and the strongest to be the king. Is it the elephant or the giraffe or the monkey? I don't know. I'll call all the animals to my palace, said the king. And he sent his griot in those days, there were no papers, no radio, no TV. So you send a drummer who was called the griot. And the griot went to town, yes. Yes, they all gathered into the palace of the king. And the king said, thank you, everybody, for listening to my call. Now, I would like to know who among you will be the king after me, would like to be the king after me. Very well, said King Lion. I just want you to do a little test for me. But before you do that, you do a little dance to entertain us. Then you throw my rukere. What the king is holding is called rukere. In West Africa, most kings and chiefs, they hold that as their sign of office. It's called rukere. When you throw this rukere up and count 10 before it drops down, then you can become the king. Oh, they said, oh, that's so easy. You cannot do that. A piece of banana again. Oh, all right. As they were saying that, the elephant stomped into the clearing and said, and blew his trumpet. Can we blow our trumpet? I have to be the king. I'm the biggest animal in the jungle. I should be the king. I'm even bigger than you, lion. Very well, dance first to entertain us. Pum, 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 pum. Oh, stomping elephant. Okay. Thank you, elephant. Take that and throw it, and let's count with the elephant. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, the elephant stomped again and blew his trumpet again and said, I should be the king. No, you've had your chance. As they were saying this, the giraffe galloped into the clearing and said, look at me, everybody. I'm very, very elegant. Tall legs and tall neck. I can see danger from afar. And my color is very beautiful. I will be the king. All right? Dance to entertain us. Bum, bum, bum. And then he threw the rukere and counted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, you tried almost 5. No, you should go. You've had your chance. Then we had the leopard. The leopard just came in and said, I should be the king. I'm smarter than even the lion. I am faster in the forest. I should be the king. I have lots of spots to camouflage me. Very well. Can you dance first to entertain us? Woohoo! Thank you. Can you throw it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my God, you made an attempt. Okay. All right. To stay on the side. Then the pig Elede came out and said, I have to be the king. I should be the king. I have to be the king. And the king said, all right, just dance for us. Oh, the pig danced very well, but it didn't work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, like the leopard, you can throw a pig. Then the gorilla came in. Ooh, I can't be the king. I can walk on all fours and on 2 legs like humans, so I should be the king. Very well, dance for us, gorilla. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Whoa, good dance, gorilla. Ooh, ooh. Dad. Now, yes, I can throw it, said, boasted the gorilla. And he threw it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost 6. Oh, no, gorilla, you've had your chance. The gorilla was not happy, but then the monkey came in chattering and itching. Ooh, 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 I should be the king. I should be the king. I should be the king. I can climb tall trees. I can throw anything. Okay, entertain us, monkey. Woohoo! And then the monkey threw it to the top of the tree. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, monkey. I should be the king. No, you've had your chance. Then all the other animals said, well, the king brought us here to make fun of us. Let's go away. Well, as they were saying that, the little bunny rabbit came out, hopped out and said, I can throw it. I can. Everybody came back and looked at the bunny rabbit, and looked at the bunny rabbit, and they laughed. They said, look at, we big and tall animals could not. How can you throw this? Very well, let him try, said King Lion. You dance for us to see. Dance, 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 dance. Oh, thank you, throw it. And then the rabbit threw it and counted 5 plus 5, 10. And then all the other animals moved closer to the lion to ask, really, Your Majesty, 5 plus 5 equals 10? Oh, yes. There are many ways of getting number 10. 5 plus 5, 6 plus 4, 7 plus 3, 8 plus 2, 9 plus 1, 2 times 5, many, many other ways of getting that number 10. So when King Lion grew too old to continue to be king, the bunny rabbit became the king of the jungle, and they all celebrated as well. Woo! Thank you. That's the end of the story. Thanks a lot. We have, then we have the youth group drummers. Yes, drumming is it's a means of communication by us, apart from a means of entertainment. What the griot was doing was going around, it will sound a drum. I remember one of my grand aunts, as we were in the garden, in the farm, walking, a drum will sound. Guru, 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 guru. she says, let's go, let's go. Somebody has passed away in the village. So those elderly people knew the sounds that meant what. So we use drumming to communicate, and at the same time, it's a means of celebration too, and a means of happiness to make music. All right, so these children just started about 8 weeks. They learned this drumming. So they haven't really advanced yet. So maybe next year they will drum for you to dance. All right, okay. Lazy. Kelele, kelele, oh, oh. Kelele, story. Okay, we have Kokodiko, the dance monster now. And this is a story also about discrimination. It's not only here we say, oh, they are discriminating against me because of my color, or because of my height, or because of my language, the way I speak, because of my size. No, we also have that in all other countries. We have discrimination about your status and all that. It's a human phenomenon. It's not just written in one place. So these stories are here to tell us about the usefulness of everybody, even animals, no matter who we are, if we let them be. So we are going to have Kokodiko, and then after that, harvest dance. A very nice and beautiful harvest dance. So, okay. This story has 2 songs in it. Before that, I'm still going to call you to listen. Tohio.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Bo.
Tohio.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Bo. Yeah, 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 yeah. Bo. Tohio. Yeah, 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 yeah. Bo. Tohio means I have a story to tell. Yeah, 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 yeah. Bo means tell it quickly, we are listening. Okay, Tohio, yeah, 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 bo. Okay, thank you. And we have 2 songs in this story. One goes like this. Please sing with us. Wa, 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 When we get there, we'll sing it. And the other one says Kokodiko. Kokodiko, koko. But if the drummers overtake us, we just let them be, let them drum, okay? Thank you. All right, so Kokodiko, the dance monster. The last thing I would say is, please, if you feel like we did and the girl changed into a dog, that's the way Africans tell. They don't just come and say, except in a school system. If it's in the community or at home, everybody chips in. Everybody says something. So if you hear something that is very strong for you, you can say, oh my God. Or it's something that's surprising. Whoa, really? Things like that. You can laugh loud as you like, but we just control it so that the story will continue. Okay, thank you. Kokodiko, the dance monster. Tohio, yeah, 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 bo. A long, long time ago, when the world was very young, there lived some people in a village, now in an area now called West Africa, where people did not like twin babies. Yes, because they thought twins will bring them bad luck. And so when twins were born, they will run to the king and say, Your Majesty, please take them and their parents to the forest to live away from the village. We don't have anything to do with them. Yes, they kept up this practice until one day, a man and his wife in that village had a set of beautiful twin baby boys. Yes, they were very identical and beautiful, but nobody cared for all that. They ran to the king and said, Your Majesty, send them quickly. They will bring us bad luck in this village. So the poor parents were forced to take their babies to live in the forest away from the people. Then one day, something weird started to happen in that village. A monster called Kokodiko came to live in the area around the village. Yes, and this monster was disturbing everybody, in fact, killing some of them. Yes, it had no weapon. It had no bow, no arrow, no gun, nothing. It was just a dance monster. It will hypnotize its victim and force them to dance and dance and dance until they drop down, boom. Yes. One day, women who were hungry now wanted to go to the market. They banded together. They came, they were going to the market. They banded together so that they wouldn't be afraid of Kokodiko. And they passed hills, valleys, forests, rivers. And as they got right into the top of the mountain, into the valley, the monster rushed out and said, dance. Kokodiko, 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 kokodiko. And then they danced and danced and danced until they were tired, and one by one, they started to drop down. The monster jumped up, whoo, and disappeared into the forest. Kokodiko, 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 kokodiko. And then the warriors of the village came out, and they said, who or what is this monster? And why should we be afraid of it? We have fought in wars, and we fought with our bare hands, the lions, the elephants, and all the wild animals, and we conquered them. We are going to the forest to get rid of this monster. To empower themselves, they started to sing as they went along. Eh, eh, wa, eh, eh, wa, eh, eh, wa, eh, eh, wa, bing, eh, wa, eh, eh, wa, eh, eh. Then they got to the middle of the forest, and the monster heard that sound and got fired up and came out rushing and said, dance. Kokodiko, 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 kokodiko. And then the warriors were very strong, but one by one they started to fall. And the monster jumped up for joy, whoo, and disappeared into the forest. And kokodiko, 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 kokodiko. And then the king of the village, seeing what happened in his village, came out and decided to inspect his village. He said, oh, ye God of my ancestors, what shall I do? Oh my God, see, my whole village is almost empty. Then he thought for a while and said, yes, I remember I have my magic words. Anytime I go traveling along the village and villages, among the villages and inside the bush parts, I use my magic words to make wild animals to disappear before me, and they disappear. So I will use that same method on this monster. So he decided to go to look for the monster. So when he was searching, the monster saw him and again came rushing out and said, dance. And the king stood his ground. He refused to dance. Instead, he used his magic words on the monster.
Va-t'en, reviens plus. On te veut plus dans notre village. Va, pars.
Go, disappear, disappear. And the monster disappeared into thin air. The king was happy and went to sit down and was trying to celebrate with the people when out of the forest came a hunter. And the hunter said, Your Majesty, I just escaped from the monster. Really? Said the king. But I made it disappear already. No, it's still there. It came back. It's dancing with my colleagues. I was just lucky to have escaped. Not knowing what to do, all the villagers put their hands on their chin and they started to think and think of what next to do. When out of the forest came two little boys. They were the twins who were thrown into the forest a little while before. They heard what was happening in that village. They had grown up, actually. They heard what was happening in the village, and they went to the king's house. When they got there, they bowed down, and they turned to the village people and said, we would like to go and get rid of that monster. Everybody kept quiet and looked at them for a while. Then they broke out in hearty laughter. Can we laugh? Look, they said, look at these two little ones. When the warriors, the hunters, the king could not, how can you two little boys go and face that type of a monster? Some others said, let them go, Your Majesty. They brought this plague into our village. Send them. So the king sent them. But the boys were very smart. They took lots of drinks, lot of banana bread, and many other things to eat. So they went to the forest, and when they got there, one of them hid behind a tree. And then the other went in search of Kokodiko. Suddenly, the monster came out again and said, dance. And when the Kokodiko turned its back, the twins quickly switched places. Kokodiko, 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 kokodiko. Again, they switched places. And the monster did not see the difference because the twins were identical. Kokodiko, 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 kokodiko. After a little while, the monster started to get tired because the twins danced and they refreshed themselves and they switched places and they danced, but the monster danced on. But after many days of dancing, it started wobbling, the knees were touching, and suddenly it fell. And all the other people looking in the village, they came, the people looking on top of the trees and the mountains, they all shouted in joy. And then they came there and saw that the monster was really down. And thank you. And then the king, where is the king? And then the king came out and said, thank you, my people. From today, let no one throw the twins into the forest. They don't bring bad luck. They have saved us from the monster. Let us make them chiefs in the village, in fact. They have something to contribute to us. And we are going to celebrate their chieftaincy titles for 3 days and 3 nights. Let's dance and celebrate. Thank you. That was the end of Kokodiko. Thanks a lot. The last dance we are having today is the African harvest dance. During harvest, it's a very wonderful time. In here too, people celebrate, what is it we celebrate in October? Thanksgiving. That's a harvest thing because it's time to celebrate what we eat, that we are giving good food. The earth produced very well despite the snow. And in Africa, it's the same thing. When it's harvest, it's wonderful. you.